The tree that overlooks our community is really a symbol of strength. It's been there over 100 years. It overlooks all our assets, our homes, the clubhouse, the golf course, tennis courts, the beautiful walkways, the trails. It really is unique the way it overlooks the things that are important to all of us. It's important that we keep these assets intact. Hi, my name's David Prentice. The purpose of this DVD is to give you more information about the Legacy Pines Recreation Association. I'm a member of that committee along with Fletch Keating and John Hamstra. We're concerned residents. We're interested in all the assets of this community, and we're interested in making sure those assets work for every individual, every person that owns a home in Legacy Pines. Let me give you some more information. When we talk about assets, we're talking about all the assets within the community, whether it's a clubhouse or whether it's the facilities within the clubhouse, the place we can play bridge, or after a game of golf we can sit down and enjoy and have a beer, or a cup of coffee after a walk. You know, when I take a look at the assets that we have, potentially once they're in our control, there's so many things we can do with those assets. You know, and I sit on the deck and I watch people out in the tennis courts and they're enjoying themselves. It's a part of a community life. It is what the lifestyle is all about. And of course, when you take a look at what we have outside of the hard assets, the beautiful natural assets, the walkways, the gorgeous environment, the fresh air we have, this truly is a gem of a community. Of course, one of the key assets is the golf course. The golf course is what many residents here waited years and years for, and I have to say it's a tremendous golf course. So it's a great asset. Let me take you a little deeper in, and I'm going to show you what we have observed as an association. While our observations are not scientific, we perceive that the recreational assets are underused. And that is everything from the golf course to the facilities within the clubhouse. In addition to those facilities being underused, we also feel that many of the residents may not fully understand the true value of these assets in terms of property values, health, and social opportunities. We also realize that the PCA's responsibilities are driven primarily by the needs of the condominium corporations and not necessarily by the residents. And that's where we come in. That's where our role is to focus on how we can deliver these assets to the residents. If we go back to the PCA's survey of last year, the community really didn't want the PCA to be involved in the transition of the recreational assets. So that's the role, and that's where we fit in. When I say that's where we fit in, John, Fletch, and I are all here under 5 years. And we know that there's been a painful past. We know there's been, especially from some of the early residents here, a lot of conflict with the developer. We are intent on working with Doug Reddington to transfer the assets in an orderly fashion in a way that best benefits the members of this community. So let me share with you some of our beliefs. We believe that all the assets are important. That's everything from the trails, to the golf course, to the tennis courts, to the chance to play bridge. We think it adds value to the community. We also believe that the golf course in itself is the key asset, both for golfers and non-golfers. It has the potential to deliver the highest social and as important, financial value to each and every resident. We also realize that there's a potential to further increase our home values for every Legacy Pines resident that is in this community as we secure and expand the recreational assets. You know, these assets are important to us, and no third party will value these assets more than we, the people in this community. We also strongly believe that not being ready to make decisions about these assets at the end of construction, which is likely 2016, 2017, is not in the best interests of our residents. We need to be prepared. We need to plan now. We need to plan proactively. You know, when we talk about our actions, many of us think alike on this committee, on this association. So we decided to act to protect and enhance the investments that we all have. We were encouraged by the PCA to create the committee, and that committee is headed by Fletch Keating, John Hamstra, and myself, Dave Prentice. Part of the creation of the committee was to put a new face to the developer, Doug Reddington. We've had 3 meetings with the developer, Doug, and Mark Godman, the owner of Aston Ridge, and all 3 meetings, in my mind, have been very productive. In addition to the meetings with the developer and the builder, we've met with the PCA to open communications. This presentation is really a synopsis of what we presented to the PCA on the 21st of November. Just to let you know a little bit about some of our accomplishments, the additional washrooms were added this summer. Now, this wasn't only our initiative, but it was certainly an initiative of a number of people here. In addition, card tables were installed to facilitate both euchre and bridge playing at the clubhouse. I have to say that Judy Keating has done a great job in terms of teaching people bridge, and if you haven't been involved, you should get in touch with Judy. I've been running men's golf, not running it, but facilitating men's golf, and we've really expanded. We have a total membership of 31 golfers with a core group of 20 that meet for fun every Thursday. So we're pretty pleased with that. Women's golf just equally successful. They've expanded this year, and I understand they're having a potluck dinner in December, and of course they follow regular golf days too. Tennis lessons, well, I haven't done it yet. I am going to do it. I think it's tremendous that we have an opportunity to use two very, very good tennis courts. Lessons have been given, and for the tennis players, I think it's another tremendous asset. We've added 2 bookcase libraries, which are in the bookhouse for book sharing, and that was spearheaded by Sue Campbell. So a lot of people are putting a lot of effort in to make sure that we start to utilize the assets. Now, there's going to be some future announcements. One of my personal ones will be, I'd love to see a trout pond on this golf, not on the golf course, but in somewhere on this property. And I'd love to see that by 2014. And I am really pleased to say that the golf course is now open 7 days a week. And I have to thank Doug Reddington for that, because I put the proposal to him and he looked at it and decided that he would go ahead with it. So there's no more Black Tuesday. We can golf 7 days a week. And because the course is such a great course, it just gives the asset more availability to all the people within this community. If you don't golf, you should really take a look at the golf course as your asset. It is a key asset. I mean, it's great for the social, it's great for the physical, but it is a financial asset. Let me share some facts. I did a little research on the social, health benefits, and financial value of a golf course. Well, socially, it brings people together. From a health standpoint, it's a great walking opportunity, but from a financial standpoint, it truly has a major impact. It benefits both the golfers and the non-golfers. So when you're a golfer, you certainly see how the asset can be used, and if you're a non-golfer, you may not think it has anything to really benefit you, but it certainly does. Here are some very specific golf course and property value facts. I encourage all golfers and all non-golfers to take a look on the internet and try to determine the impact of a golf course on residential property values. It is significant. When I say significant, if you take a look at the studies that were done by the authors below, they indicate that if a building is on a golf course, it adds 7 to 8% to the property value. Now, not all of our buildings are on a golf course, but all of our buildings have very direct access. So I think it's fair to say that 5% would be a very conservative figure, but a very realistic figure. Let's take a little closer look. By 2016, 2017, Legacy Pines will be complete, hopefully, and they'll have 188 homes. If we take a look at the assets impact on those homes, it's very significant. Let's assume a conservative valuation of $600,000 per home, and likely by 2017 that will be increased. But let's just take a $600,000 per home. A 5% increase collectively would deliver to this community over $5 million. That would be about $30,000 per home, and that really is financial value delivered by a very concrete asset. If the number were 7%, it would relate out to $42,000 per home. Truly significant. This is an asset we can't let go. Given all the positives, we're going to continue our initiatives. We're going to continue representation with the developer, Doug Reddington, and the builder, Mark Godman, to improve short-term conditions and to set the stage for the best long-term results. Going to continue to encourage all groups interested in using the recreational facilities for a wide variety of purposes. I've listed some here. Private parties, hopefully next year there'll be a liquor license, book clubs, community activities. I can see aerobic and yoga classes going on, increased tennis activities because those are great courses. Expansion of the golf, we've got some great ideas for next year, more workout room facilities, and really an opportunity to create some new interesting things. Personally, I'd love to see the creation of a trout pond. We also are going to look to the future. We know there's been some painful past, as I said earlier. We want better communications with the residents and with the PCA concerning the status and prospects for the assets. We don't want word of mouth to be the communication vehicle. In addition, we would like to identify a third party that can define real monetary value that's delivered to each condo owner. I speculate it's between 5 and 7%, but it would be nice to have some other outside third party reference give us an exact idea of what they think. In addition, we know the developer will not run these facilities at a loss forever. Therefore, the facilities, will at some point either be left to decay or sold to an operator. We want to be that operator. It's as simple as that. And one last point, as we look to the future, we want to conduct a second survey of all residents to lay the foundation for future community actions, to see what your thoughts are. And as part of this process, we want to have direct access to each pod. And we're actually doing it through this video to some degree. So we want to be able to get closer to each pod, to each resident. There's one last point that I want to make, and we really believe this. We believe there's a bitter pill to swallow. And what I mean by that is that I know there's been a lot of bad blood between the developer and some of the early residents. I believe that for the residents of Legacy Pines to achieve their goals, we must support the developer to finish this community, whether we like him or not. The last thing I'll share with you here, of course, is how important it is for us to make this golf course work, not only for ourselves, but for our grandkids. This is my young grandson, Andrew, and he hits the ball just about as good as Don Robb. So let's make sure this all works.